Hi, Gary here. Recently I was sitting next to another gentleman stretching at my health club. He's in early 30s, and he was exclaiming that he was just getting over a calf pull, his calf muscle, and he thought, that's it, he's good, he's not going to be injured again, everything's going to be wonderful. And I kind of chuckled to myself, and I said, look, get used to it, it's always going to be something. And of course his response was, no, as soon as I get through this, I'm all set. And he walked off, and I thought, wow, he's got a lot to learn, but he'll get this eventually. Because I know that, every day it's multiple aches and pains. If you get down to one, it's really great, but as time goes on, more and more stuff just continues to deteriorate in our bodies, in our health. And that's just the way it is. Father Time is out there in the future for us. So, what does this all do with money? Well, we have three elements, I believe, when we're dealing with health and money, and that's genetics, nutrition, and exercise. And really, with money, we can just buy more comfort or extend our time. And there's some arguments back and forth, lots of studies around this that say maybe, maybe not. So what are we talking about, making more comfortable? Well, you can go and get concierge services where you go to doctors who don't accept insurance, and you pay a pretty large fee every year to be there anytime you want and cover any issue you want whatsoever, but you pay more money for it. You can certainly go out and buy lots of different kinds of nutritional pills and supplements and so forth. You can go get yourself a trainer to make sure you're working out every day, or 3 times a week, whatever it happens to be. And there's all sorts of exercising and getting your full amount and 2-minute drill, or different kinds of programs out there, but they just keep coming out of the woodwork over and over again. But we know that it costs money, and so some folks don't have it, especially when it comes to nutrition. I mean, it's almost twice as expensive to eat right out of a grocery store than just to buy stuff that we know is probably bad for us. At least that's what we've been finding out over the last couple of decades. So it is more expensive, and there is some comfort here and maybe some health benefits by being able to do that over our lifetimes. But the big one is I find to be behavioral. For me, I started running 43 years ago, and I've been running ever since. So behavior, I have that that running gene where I just do that. It's helped me, I believe, over time. Although now some of the studies say if you exercise too much, which I probably did for a while, it can hurt your health. So you're not certain, but we do know that a consistent exercise schedule, along with nutrition, should help our bodies, generally speaking. But the other behavioral thing, if you've not been an exercise person or haven't eaten healthy, maybe a major event hits you. There's a fellow back in the mid-70s named Jim Fixx. He goes to his doctor. He has heart disease. The doctor says, you're not going to live for more than a year. He says, well, what can I do about it? He says, you're going to have to lose a lot of weight. How do I do that? Start running. Well, you know the rest of the story. He wrote a book called The Complete Book of Running in 1977, became fairly famous. And then he died in 1984, and a lot of people thought he died because of running, and actually, according to him and his doctor, it extended his life longer. But maybe you have a major health event or something that changes the way you operate in this arena. Maybe not. And we do see that happen sometimes. But a lot of it ultimately comes down to genetics. Some people are just predisposed to a variety of maladies that we can't do much about. We can only deal with the things that we know with that. And money does help. So ultimately, I talked about it, is about comfort and extending time. I think it's a little bit about both. Money does help in that arena, but it certainly doesn't put off Father Time that hands us over to Mother Earth, where we turn back into dust. Now, there's a really good book, and I've mentioned this several times in the past, called Younger Next Year by Dr. Henry Lodge and Chris Crowley. It's a chapter back and forth between the two that talk about health-related stuff and then real life. Chris Crowley, this gentleman about 70 years old, talks about this. There's a women's version of the book and a men's version. It's a pretty good read, and it will cover this area a little bit. If you're interested in it, go ahead and order them from Amazon or wherever you pick up the book and enjoy. So until next time, enjoy.